What up, everybody? What's going on? This is your boy, like one half enduro. Um, I don't know if I'll put this into. I won't say Gen N. I won't say that Gen N, but I know I'm doing this video just for video's sake. All right, but we want to talk about how the wars and the council wars again. I've done videos on it. I'm doing the next one on it right now. Um, yeah, I'm not call it Generation N. So if you see this in the Generation N spot, is because like I said I have a really good video, and I want to hold on to it until the Switch 2 comes out, and it's long, of course, but it's really good talking about the gaming industry itself. Not only Nintendo, but the whole gaming industry itself thing. So I want to keep that for after the Switch. Let me see what's going on, what the word is, what's going on, blah blah blah. Yeah. Hopefully everybody who's picking up Xenoblade Chronicles X, they enjoyed it. It looks like they added in a lot of quality of life, to make the game better. So Nintendo gets you to buy a lot of games twice. So I can't argue about that. That's what I'm gonna be doing. I have my little slide about that as well too. But yeah. So in this video, I watched half of the video. So the thing about it that killed me is a lot of revisionist history. And I always ask the question, if these people can revise stuff that happened 20 years ago, 10 years ago, what makes people think that they're telling what makes people understand that they're getting the true facts and stuff about stuff that happened 100 years ago? There's a lot of data and stuff that got released that was known 100 years ago, but it's get lost to the wind and it's gone to a narrative. But anyway, I'm gonna use Party Panda 17 his video and let's see what he has to say about who won the console wars.
War is over, or so it would seem. In case you missed it, Phil Spencer, the CEO of Xbox, sat down for an interview with Xbox Era a couple weeks ago where he ended up getting pretty candid. It's a great interview where he talks about upcoming games, the state of the industry, and the thing I want to talk about today, the console wars. In the interview, Phil said,
I would love to make all of the money for all of the games that we ship, right? Like, obviously, we make more on our own platform. It's one of the reasons that investing in our own platform is important.
What I've been saying all this time. Exactly. Phil knows that. And that's what it is. You make more money and invest it into your own platform. That's why I have no. Everybody's like, oh, Nintendo should go third party. Hey, if they didn't go third party, go third party. But right now, they're making boku bucks. They don't need that shit. They're good where they at. Xbox, of course, they ain't got no. They really got, like I said, you brought up all these studios, and y'all coming out the gaming version of EA. Just buy the studio and shut them down. Why? Why would you even do that?
But there are people, whether it's their libraries on a PlayStation or Nintendo, whether it's they like the controller better, they just like the games that are there. And I don't want to then look at that and say, well, there's no way that we should be able to build a business there, find fans of our franchises there. I'm not trying to move them all over to Xbox. Like, anymore, we're all so invested in where our games are. Let's just allow more people to play. And yes, the 70% that we make on games on other platforms is helpful.
and there it is, right from the horse's mouth. Phil says
Yep.
that he's no longer trying to persuade gamers to jump ship to Xbox. But if we're being real here, I think we all knew this was the case for some time now. Phil himself
Well, I would say you don't have to do that. Just still produce your own games. That's all it is. You could do what you're doing, Phil, but you still could produce your own games that makes it whatever. Cause you still, here's the thing, you want to be like Google Stadia, but you still say you're gonna do the rumors are going to you might have a handheld, and you still would have a console. So it's kind of like, huh? Again, you want people to buy the console on the device. Why would I buy the device if, unless it's the greatest, best micro PC that could do all the stuff? I'll give you that. But Microsoft Windows 11 is a pain in the ass right now. 10 was better than this, and we got Force 11. So you get what I'm saying.
has mentioned that Xbox lost the most important generation in gaming, the Xbox One PS4 generation. The generation where digital accounts really exploded into what they are today. the generation that almost ensured that gamers would stick with that platform for the long run. So, if the console wars are truly over, who exactly won? Today, I want to talk about the console wars and, in particular, Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo. Video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe.
Oh yeah, and yes, I have a video, and I'll be honest to me, and I didn't really care about the console wars. You know me, you heard me say that multiple times. But if there were a console war, there were console wars. I'm not gonna deny it, there were. I mean, Atari versus Magnavox and ColecoVision and all that stuff. I would say that was the first. That was the first console war, and that shaped a lot of stuff. So I'm not gonna deny that, and I think that was a true piece to put them in. But again, the thing about that console war that I liked is there were people trying to do different versions of the game. Same game, just different versions. Some look good, some look bad, some control good, some control bad. But it was the console battling it out for the games. The way we are right now, all I want is the games. I don't care for what console it is or whatever. Like I said, I got PlayStation 5. I got a Switch. So don't really care. Just give me good games and I will buy your product. Like I said, give me good games and I give you money. That's how it works. So we had that. That was a true console war. The next true console war was Sony. Sony. Sorry. I'm sorry. It was Sega versus the Super Nintendo, or Nintendo versus Genesis. That era right there was a true console war. There was a console war like the first one, when you're going back and forth with games and stuff like that. And I might do a video about that. I know it's going to get copyrighted because it's published by PBS, but we'll see. I'll do a video, put it up on the channel, see if we get copyrighted. If I can play without being whatever, I'll put it up to you guys. And that might be a good generation and video to talk about stuff as well too. But we'll see. But yeah, kind of like the back behind the scenes of that story. But that was a true console war. Once again, the games. Everyone had different controllers. Everyone had different styles. Sony was not Sony. The Super Nintendo was kid friendly like they always been, and Sega was more graphic and more teenage, edgy stuff like that. Then came the PlayStation. Have no problem with the PlayStation. Didn't buy a PlayStation 1, but you had it did its thing. I'm not against that. But I don't think PlayStation Saturn and Nintendo was a console war. I do not think that was a console war. I think it's the petering out of it. It kind of started like that, but then yeah. If I have to say the next great console war, because there's only three in my mind, and the third one is basically Wii, Xbox, and PlayStation 3. And again, everybody, that one showed more of, not that they have the same game on each platform, one is better, unlike the other one. No, this was like each of us have a different claim to fame, and we're putting out different styles of games. The Wii was not HD, but it had a different way of playing games, and people enjoyed it. And it was for casuals, no ifs, ands about that, but still get some great hardcore games on that game. There ain't no casuals playing the Red Sea like that now. Red Steel 2, I mean. Then you have the Xbox 360, which was better with the online, and also Xbox Arcade. I'm not gonna knock that. That was really good, and they were better, and they basically homed in their controller to feel better in the hands and stuff like that. None against that as well too. And then PlayStation, even though their console was pricier, they were trying to keep off. They still had great exclusive games. Everyone had the exclusive games. That's why true console for war game was like that. But then also they had a better outing of coming off of the PlayStation 2. That's the true console war. PlayStation, Xbox, and the Wii U, nah, I don't feel like that was it. And of course, the Switch, PlayStation 5, and the Xbox One X, whatever the heck it is. No, I don't see that one either. But anyway, let's continue.
Alright, let's get it. Alrighty, so let's talk about the console wars. The first one, or at least as far as we're concerned, was the battle for dominance between Nintendo and Sega back in the late 80s/early 90s. These two gaming powerhouses basically set the stage for how we view the console wars in 2025. Two different manufacturing companies who are competing to take over the market with their consoles and their exclusive games. The bigger the install base, the more games you can sell, whether that be first or third-party games. Essentially, Nintendo and Sega went back and forth for years before a new competitor joined the fight, Sony. Originally, Sony and Nintendo were to team up in order to combat the success of Sega. The plan was for Nintendo to license the Sony technology that allowed video games to be stored on discs instead of cartridges, which would allow for much larger and cheaper games to be shipped via CDs. At the time, they were already exclusively partnering with Sony for their audio chips, but they turned out to be quite expensive when Sony forced developers to use their highly expensive proprietary audio tool in order to properly use the chips. So, Nintendo decided behind closed doors that they didn't want to pay any more royalties to Sony for the CD technology and ended up partnering with Philips instead. This basically ended up with Sony being left at the altar, which they took personally. Instead of giving up on video games, they decided to go all in.
Okay. You kind of tell half the story. You're right about that, but don't forget, if they made a Mario game on that Sony PlayStation game that they were making, Sony get more money than Nintendo. And I kind of like, I made the software, and you get more money with the software that makes the console a better thing. Hell no. Hell no. Ain't no way I'm gonna do that. So yeah, did Nintendo backed out sneakily? I was kind of like sorry. How does it like a cowardly way to get out of it? Yeah, I'm not gonna deny that. But yeah, I would have. I wouldn't. I don't know if I would have do it better, but I know for sure I would not give up my rights to my own games for Sony. Hell no.
Really fascinating origin story that I plan to go into deeper detail on a future video, but basically, this is how the PlayStation came to be. This shiny new console was so popular that it, with the help of poor management decisions from Sega, essentially wiped Sega off the map. Nintendo was still able to flourish and even push the industry forward with their new super-powered 64-bit console, the Nintendo 64. At this point, Sega was basically done with the console business, so
Not
that
really.
left Nintendo and Sony to duel it out until a new fighter joined the competition in 2001, Xbox.
Well, no, because I had a Saturn. The Saturn was a failure. We get that, but the Dreamcast was a really good and still is a damn good console. Sega Dreamcast was a good console. I just wish it didn't, if the Saturn wasn't the biggest failure as it would have been. I think the Dreamcast would have done pretty good. But Sega already got hit too much hard with the money problems. That's for sure. But they had really good damn games, and they they did a better job on PlayStation 2 by taking arcade games with the Amiga's situation in Japan and bring those arcade games straight to the Dreamcast. Freaking awesome. Freaking awesome. Okay. So when Dreamcast said, hey, we're gonna call it, and then Xbox came in right after that. So the PlayStation 1 didn't kill off Sega. You might say PlayStation, the Sega. I think the PlayStation 2 and Nintendo, and seeing that people just didn't went that way, yeah, that's what kind of hindered it off. But I get to you.
Microsoft's take on the home console market was to use their personal computer technology and refine it into the ultimate video game machine. Initially, the Xbox didn't sell very well, especially compared to Sony's PlayStation 2. The PS2 sold over 150 million units worldwide, while the Xbox didn't even crack 25 million, resulting in the first generation of Microsoft consoles as a net loss. However, Microsoft saw the potential in Xbox and swung for the fences with their follow-up console, the Xbox 360. With lessons learned from the previous generation, Microsoft began stockpiling game studios and partnerships with other development teams to try and rival PlayStation's first-party roster. The 360 launched at a market price of $400, while the PS3 went with a higher price of $500, or if you went for the 60GB model, $600. This led to the Xbox 360 dominating PS3 sales in North America, although Sony did still have great numbers in Japan. Now you might be wondering, where the heck is the other Japanese company during all of this? Nintendo. In 2001, the same year of the original Xbox launch, Nintendo released the successor to the Nintendo 64, the GameCube. While the GameCube was an upgrade performance-wise, it fell behind in other key metrics. Finally ditching the game cartridges, Nintendo upgraded to an in-house mini DVD reader for the GameCube. Unfortunately, the smaller disc reader meant it couldn't support multimedia formats like the
Of
then
course.
popular DVD and music CDs. The smaller discs also meant that larger games wouldn't always be able to fit on them, resulting in some third-party developers choosing to skip the platform entirely, such as
Of course, everybody always this revisionist history is always that killed me. At that time, Sega was getting one of the things that also hurt Sega is that their games could get pirated very easy. PlayStation was as well too, because again, I got a disc. I have this game is coming out this year. Thank goodness. I have a white plain disc. I've showed it before of Capcom vs SNK. It's just copied onto the disc, and I put it in there, and I could play. And it's a Japanese version. It plays pretty good with English everything. Whole game could easily been that, and PlayStation could have done the same thing too. So what Nintendo wanted to do, and funny enough, the third parties asked Nintendo for this as well too, is to hey, is there any way you can stop the pirating of the games? They came up with that situation, and when people say, oh, that game that could hold enough games to do stuff like that, it could hold enough games to hold stuff like what? PlayStation had multiple disc games. Sega and also Xbox had multi-disc games. So miss me with the nonsense about the multi-disc games because they had multiple disc games on all platforms. Funny enough, one of my favorite games on the Dream, and I'm not Dreamcast. One of my favorite games on the GameCube, Tales of Symphonia, was a 2-disc game, and it ran better on that console than any other console, even PC. It ran better. Imagine that. Imagine that. And like I said, all that plus all the third parties, like we're in with you, Nintendo, and then they stab them in the back and put their games all over the place after they're using Nintendo to do stuff. And again, funny enough, y'all talk about gigabytes of shit now. Xenoblade Chronicles X came out. I don't know when I'm gonna release this video, but it's in the week when Xenoblade Chronicles X is coming out, or there's a different edition is coming out on the Switch. This game came out, and I wanna double check before I open my mouth. I know I heard it in a review, and I think I put a video up about that. But let me put that. Let's see here, blah 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 blah. Let me see. Let me just find it in Nintendo, because I don't want to find it in all the other stuff. I'm trying to find it in Nintendo. Hold up in a minute. I gotta laugh at this as well too. Comic book scores, blah blah blah. I don't care. So it's 89. I'm just looking. Sorry about just doing this. So it's 89 on the thing, huh? On mediocre, thing. Okay. Anyway, let me go back to. Let me try to get Nintendo. I want to see something. I want to see what they say. 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10. A lot of 9 out of 10s. Some of them is 10 out of 10s. But anyway, let me see. Nintendo, but that's what I wanted to see. I don't want to see trailer. I just want to see what this city game is. Information. What the? Oh, it's kicked over that. So what this is, excuse me, talking about how we are getting the graphics and all that stuff. You got bigger games out there. There are big games out there. But AAA people just playing got these games with 150, 160, 200 gigs to install a flipping game. Now the original one with the patch was 22 to 24 gigs. And now the definitive edition now is 13 to 14 gigs. I think it was 13 I said, but it's 13 to 14 gigs. Let me just give myself a little buffer. So wait, they took a game from older part that was bigger, that was crazy, that don't have a lot of loading, that loads the whole game. You can fight anything you want. You can go from one end to end without no problem. And it's 13 gigabytes. Get that out of here with that bull crap, man. That's what the point I'm talking about. So don't hit me with this nonsense. Oh, these bigger games, whatever. Nintendo always compress their games to work way better than any other company. Point blank, period.
Rockstar with the Grand Theft Auto series. This generation of Nintendo games also focused on family-friendly titles, which at the time was the least popular gaming audience. So even though the GameCube had some incredible games that were praised by fans and critics alike, the console sales fell way short of expectations. It eventually bounced back with the release of Resident Evil 4 and some major price drops on the console, but at that point, the next generation of consoles was ready to take the stage. Instead of beefing up their hardware to compete with the Xbox 360 and PS3, Nintendo decided to do things their own way. In 2006, the Nintendo Wii released to astronomical success. Yes, it was very underpowered compared to its peers, but it more than made up for it with its innovation in control scheme and broad appeal to the masses. Anyway, you all know about the Wii, so let's switch back to Xbox and PlayStation. After the success of the 360, Xbox was on top of the world. This confidence clearly went to their heads because they then went and completely fumbled the next generation, the Xbox One PS4 generation. Microsoft tried to pitch the Xbox One as a major multimedia console, something that you would place in your living room and use for all of your entertainment purposes. Gaming, TV, web.
And going back from that app, see, because I lived through it, and most of y'all who watch this, who are listening to this right now, you lived through it as well too. We were like, I don't need that, but I kind of see where they were going, and kind of funny how it is right now, because a lot of people now, a lot of stuff is in their TVs. That's what Google Stadia trying to do. They were trying to put it in their TVs. So there's a lot of TVs now that have Netflix, all the apps in there and stuff. So they were going that route. So I get that. So you have everything on that as a set-top box. Because back then, we still had cable. People were still buying cable boxes to turn TVs and stuff. So I see where they were coming from now. Now, after you step away from shit and you look into it again, it makes sense. Now, they're forced to connect, which she's going to talk about. I get that. I think you should have still, if I was Xbox, if you're going to do it, because look at Nintendo went all in with all the games. Some of the gimmicks you all like, some of the gimmicks you didn't like. But at least they didn't left you hanging. Keep pushing the shit till the end.
Browsing.
And then think about Xbox having, because they had the money, they got the money.
Skype, etc. The idea wasn't terrible, and a lot of that stuff still exists in the modern Xbox. The problem was the execution. Every Xbox One shipped with a Kinect and a requirement to always be connected to the internet in order to play your games. For the traditional gamer,
that was the only no-no. And you guys know about me. I've said it many times. I don't want no always online game. I don't want any to play my game. I don't need none of that crap. And so I don't play a lot of multiplayer games. I play a lot of single player, off grid games. And if I play multiplayer, it's like a Mario Kart where I ain't gonna worry about crap. But that, hell no.
This was all a bit too much. Why would they have to pay extra for a Kinect when they had no intention of using it? And what about...
And let's not forget PlayStation did that always online too, but they didn't say it out loud like now Matrix said. That's the difference. But the PlayStation had the same shit too in the PlayStation 4, but people just let that slide.
The privacy concerns. I don't want a camera to constantly be watching me while I'm in my living room. And the always online requirement, really? I mean, come on. We don't need to go into any further detail on why that's a god-awful decision. By trying to sell the Xbox to non-gamers with the all-in-one marketing scheme, Xbox ended up driving away some of their core audience, the actual gamers. It's like the saying goes, if you try to please everyone, you end up pleasing no one.
No one.
All of this
True.
initial backlash allowed Sony to swoop in and win back some of their lost fan base from the previous generation. The focus on games, the simplicity of the console, and the $100 cheaper price point all led to the PS4 crushing this generation, outselling Xbox 117 million units to 52 million units. Meanwhile, Nintendo followed up the super successful Wii with the less successful Wii U, a terrible naming scheme for a terrible console. I mean, the Wii U itself actually wasn't that bad, but
It was
the
not bad at
marketing
all.
for it was abysmal. The name was confusing for a lot of people. Was this a
Which
Wii
is
add-on
weird.
or something different entirely? Besides the name issue, the actual advertisements were also atrocious.
Nothing better.
Not really. And this is where I disagree with him in this. You gonna see this kind of. Have you seen the ad for the Switch, my boy? There's the same things. I'm gonna let this ad play. I could pull up multiple Switch ads that was just like this. So stop it. And 3DS, which is so good. So 3DS had the same kind of ads, because that's what Nintendo is. So that's not the problem. We already done talked to death of what the problem was with the Wii U, and it was gamers and an introduction of internet for people who just want to be live streaming and just want to be popular and doing stuff like that. Because I told my wife this, which is funny. Like, look, I don't knock a man's money. The man's money is what the man's money. I don't care about that. I still don't understand why people watch Kyle Sanat. The dude's boring. The dude's boring. Like, if you say like your child's boring and stuff like that, I could get you say that because you don't see my face. I'm just doing videos. I'm adding on stuff to it. I get that. I know you get some stuff with music, or you get some stuff when I do like an LBC, like I just did a while ago. And you got a lot of people like, "What the heck's going on?" That's the only entertainment you want to get. But hey, you might not have, but whatever. But seeing a dude just do stupid shit on TV, like, I mean, I barely watch TV now. I don't even watch like Netflix, stuff like that. So, but this kind of commercial is still going on right till this day.
Our tradition of hanging out during the holidays and getting in some Wii U time. I just get a warm feeling inside when I get to crush my older sisters. I think this is the farthest you guys have ever gotten. There's a present for you.
One thing I enjoy about the holidays is just how much closer it brings us together. Gotta go further. No.
Don't let your sister beat you. Talk about hardworking.
Oh, it's just so nice to see everyone's face.
You guys are gonna enjoy this one.
What are you doing?
Chewing air. Growling like a tiger. I think it's a tiger. Honestly.
It was chewing air.
I think that works. I got it.
It doesn't matter who wins or loses, as long as we're all together.
That's Nintendo. They still have those commercials.
Yeah,
Whatever
no
you
wonder
say,
no one
bro.
bought this thing.
Whatever. It's still going on right now because you're gonna go glaze the Switch right now. So it's stupid. That argument dumb because they're doing those commercials still to this day. Go to Nintendo's channel, you'll see them.
Wii U sales were so bad that it almost single-handedly bankrupted Nintendo.
It was not the Wii U that did that. Jeez Louise. Again, I've debunked that shit so many times. And the reason I know this shit, because I was actually at Nintendo in Japan when shit was going down and understand what people was doing. But whatever.
No one bought the console, which meant that not a lot of third-party developers wanted to put in the work for a port that only a small percentage of gamers would buy.
If we go by that logic, why they still put shit on the daggone Xbox? Oh wait, because now you got to add the Game Pass. And the Xbox did worse. So stop it.
On top of that, even the first-party Nintendo games, which were almost all great this generation, failed to make any sort of decent revenue because, like I said, no one bought a Wii U. Because of this, Nintendo quickly started development on their next console, codenamed NX.
They did not quickly did that because again, it went to the regular cycle. It was still 5 years. Every Nintendo games was 5 years up to then. So how they did a regular cycle? They're just like, all right, that didn't work out as best as we can. Was it a commercial success? No. Was it a financial Flop? No.
This, of course, ended up becoming the Switch, one of the best-selling consoles of all time, with a lifetime sales of over 150 million units and counting. Anyway, all of this culminated to where we are today, the 9th generation of gaming. Both PlayStation and Xbox released their consoles in 2020 to pretty good reviews. Unfortunately, sales numbers were initially down due to the supply chains being affected and scumbag scalpers buying up all the stock. With a low install base on this current generation, developers decided to continue support for the last gen consoles, stinting the growth for new games that actually made the most of this new tech. Today,
Yeah, sure.
in 2025, those numbers are finally getting back to normal, and we're getting some higher quality games as a result. I'm sure you're
Really?
pretty up to date with all of this, but
Really? Some of these games will got broken, and again, like I just stated before, have all this big gloat, 200 gig download. Really?
basically, PlayStation is still dominating this generation. Xbox is raking in the dough, though, through Game Pass and their new acquisitions, such as Activision, and Nintendo. Well, Nintendo is basically in a league of their own right now. So, all of that finally brings up the question: who won the console wars? As cheesy or corny as it might sound, I think that we did, the gamers. If you think about it, this
Okay.
is the best case
I
scenario.
respect that.
All three of Nintendo,
Okay, I respect what you just said right there. Because I get it. I respect that. I'm cool with that. We win as a game. I got that. I'm cool with that, bro.
Xbox, and PlayStation have survived the console wars, while in years past, other companies haven't been as lucky. Now, if you're looking for a solid, concrete answer, then I'd probably say that PlayStation won, but I'm not quite
Yeah,
sure
right.
it even really matters that much.
Again, we only have what? Less than 15 exclusives? Really? Really? Okay, whatever.
They have incredible hardware sales numbers and a great first-party library, but it clearly
Stop it, bruh. First party light up. They're not first party means exclusive. They don't have a lot of exclusives on that game. Okay, they don't. Stop it. Get some help.
has not been a complete win for the company. Otherwise, why would they start porting their games to PC? Obviously,
There you
game
go.
development is incredibly
you.
expensive these days. We know this, but it shows that the PlayStation alone is not enough for Sony, even though it really is the winner of the console wars. As for Xbox, they've done a pretty good
They're the winner of the console war. Wait, you just said Sony, Nintendo. Oh my goodness, whatever.
job
whatever.
of acknowledging that they will probably never catch back up to Sony in terms of hardware sales, and has instead focused on the software side of things. Game Pass is far and away the best deal in all of gaming, and if you ask
Not
me,
really.
it's not even particularly close. They now have a stockpile of high-value first-party games in studios, including
That's-
but not limited to Call
that you don't own, that they could delist, that you can use, that they could take away with a snap of the fingers. I don't see that as a great thing. If you want to play all kind of different games, good. But I like to own my shit. I don't want nobody. I don't want to rent no daggone license for no games.
of Duty, Overwatch, Minecraft, Doom, Forza, Diablo, Tony Hawk, World of Warcraft. Sure, Xbox's hardware sales are down, but they more than make up for that with game sales, Game Pass subscriptions, and even cloud gaming. According to Phil Spencer, their cloud gaming is exploding in markets that Xbox has historically struggled with in the past, such as Asia. Phil says that we were never going to catch that person with our console, so let's find them in a way that works. It's better for Xbox. And no, this doesn't mean that Microsoft will stop producing Xboxes. Sure, the install base is quite a bit smaller than PlayStation, but it's still a large enough audience to rake in some cash, especially if people are using that console to subscribe to Game Pass or other Xbox services. Meanwhile, Nintendo went from almost going bankrupt and being bought out by Microsoft.
They never was going to get. Boy, revision history. Nintendo would do seppuku before they let Microsoft buy them. What are you talking about, bro? What? What are you talking about, bro? Seriously. Ain't no way. You crazy with that one, man.
Reaching a level of success that they've never had before with the Switch. Dropping out of the console war might have been the single
If you put it in each generation, If you put it all together, yes, but they have reached high the Wii, the game, all the handhelds, Nintendo NES, and the Super Nintendo. They reached there. It's just people, annoying.
Best decision the company has ever made. This new strategy,
Really?
also known as the Blue Ocean strategy, has allowed Nintendo to basically compete in its own market with no competition other than itself. Because of that, Nintendo basically just releases whatever they want, whenever they want. Honestly, it really feels as if the only one who can stop Nintendo is themselves at this point.
Yes.
And yeah, it does.
That is true. I give you that. But here's another thing. Yeah, they don't compete whatever they want, release whatever they want. It's not because of that. It's because Nintendo learned the hard way, F third parties. So funny. Third parties screwed them over not once, but twice. They screwed them over on the GameCube. They screwed them over on the Wii U. So Nintendo's like, you know what? F y'all. We're going to do shit ourselves. And lo and behold, even though third-party games, a lot of them don't run that well on the Switch, which I would never buy them anyway, unless they really, whatever, I see that they have to put in good efforts and stuff like that, like a Starlink and stuff like that, or Rayman, or Prince of Persia, yeah, they run good. I put my money for that third parties like that, Ubisoft, you bastards. But Nintendo was like, we're gonna lead by example by doing our shit, and we're gonna sell our stuff up. Y'all ain't gonna hold us back like you did last time. Now the Switch 2, we'll see what happened with that. But the Switch 1 was totally straight up Nintendo working their ass off, producing games for their own console and making it what it is. Nintendo being Nintendo. So miss me that. But you are correct. Nintendo would be the other person who Nintendo.
Sound like this is something that I believe Microsoft is now trying to replicate. So at the end of the day, the console wars are over, yet the big three remain standing.
Been over.
In some cases, they're better off than ever before. If Microsoft and Nintendo both truly decide to drop out of the console race against Sony and do their own thing, then it really appears as if all three juggernauts will have their own space to exist and flourish. On the one hand, this is great. It allows all three companies to exist, and gamers don't have to be as choosy about which games or consoles they play on. On the other hand, this could get ugly. I mean, we've seen throughout history what happens when a company gets complacent with their competition. The PS2 to PS3 era, the Xbox 360 to Xbox One era, the Wii to Wii U era. All of these companies found incredible success and then immediately screwed it up in the next generation. What does the next generation of gaming look like if Sony truly has no competition? Was the $700 PS5 Pro just the beginning? That's $300 more than the base all-digital PS5 at launch. Without any direct competition, who knows how bold Sony will be with the next PlayStation? To me, this is probably the only way Xbox could even...
You're going on like they won the competition. If I have to be honest with you, you know who won the console? Even though I don't really care about it, it's Nintendo. You're a Nintendo fanboy, whatever. They're the one who stayed in the longest, and they had no problems. They stayed in it the longest, since the 80s all the way up to now. And then right now in this generation, they're the biggest selling console, huh? Nintendo is the one who won the console war.
Get close to fighting back against Sony again. In the meantime, I think they're just gonna have to keep their nose to the grindstone and continue to build their first-party catalog. If PlayStation screws up, then Xbox will be there and try and regain some ground. To me, there is one constant that is always dictated and probably will continue to dictate the console wars. It's not about the most powerful hardware or the most flashy games. It's about the price of admission to the average consumer. Can people afford your console? Can they afford your ecosystem? Can they afford your games? As long as you can get people to play your games, whether it be on your console or someone else's, then you'll be able to thrive in this industry. It really feels like moving forward in gaming, the what will be much more important than the where. But anyway, I want to hear from you guys. What do you think of the console wars? Do you think it's actually over? In your opinion,
been over.
Who won and why? Do you think
Nintendo.
we as gamers have reached a point of enlightenment where instead of fighting over consoles, we can just fight over games instead?
No.
I'd love to hear all of your thoughts down below in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. It means a lot. I appreciate you guys as always, and I'll catch you in the next one.
That's why I said revisionist history, some of the stuff he said in there. But no, Nintendo has won a console war, just point blank period, how it is right there. But again, I got me a PlayStation 5. Why? Because they got they have some exclusive games. They got some exclusives that I like, and this the third party games on there that I like that I wanted from PlayStation 4 to PlayStation 5. Because again, we have 10 games for PlayStation 4. And not 10 games. I'm so sorry. My how should I put this? My stand was I'm always gonna buy a Nintendo game. I am a Nintendo fan, common fan, but I don't care words that on me. But because I know I want to get good games for Nintendo. But for me to buy another console outside of Nintendo, you have to have at least 10 games that I want to play. At least 10 to make me say I gotta do it. I have a PlayStation Vita. It ain't working at this point because I can't believe the damn thing dropped from a 2-foot stand and the screen went. Oh crap! I dropped my Switch so many times and it's still working. This is ridiculous, PlayStation. But anyway, I have a PlayStation Vita. I got a Dreamcast. I got a PlayStation 5. I mean, yeah, I had a PlayStation 2. If you have games that make me want to go get it, I will get it. It's plain and simple. I think the gamers, but I go with him. The ultimate is yes, the gamers have won because a lot of games has come out. The quality of games has gone down, if in my opinion. The quality of games has gone down. And I might do, you know what? I might do a video about that. I gotta remember to put that in my head to gone down. Quality of games has gone down. Now right now that a lot of people are buying a lot of retro games. See the Capcom collections. Those things are flying off the shelf because those things were awesome. But we gotta be realistic. You want a little competition. He's correct about that too. You get complacent, but to say PlayStation is the winner is kind of crazy to me. No, they're not. But I don't know what, like he said. What do you guys think? Put it in the comment section and think on this. I know some of y'all gonna disagree. I mean, I get that, but I'm just talking about consistency, straight up stuff like that. If you think the PlayStation got the most games, games and stuff like that, by the metric of what exclusive games, now, and again, I gotta put in I bought a PlayStation 5 and it has still bought a 4 terabyte game thing so I can put my games on there. Don't like that. And then the next console generation they're gonna go out, and we know the Switch is gonna do cartridge, so I gotta worry about that problem. But y'all gonna go with all digital? Stop it. Miss me with that. Y'all go ahead and play all digital games on your PCs, whatever thing. Y'all great. I have over basically 500 games in my gaming closet. Some of those games I beat, some of them I have not beat. So I got enough games for the rest of my life to play the gaming library. So I don't care. So yeah. Anyway, catch y'all next time. Remember, there's no perfect games out there. No perfect. What's perfect to you is not perfect to me. What's perfect to me is not perfect to you. Simply enjoy your games on all consoles, including PC. Peace out.